Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the Victors Podcast. It's Penn State week, and contrary to the mainstream opinion, this is a huge game for both teams. Michigan can grow an offense under Cade McNamara, and the defense can step up, gaining confidence, while a win for Penn State would show they have at least an ounce of life on that team. But what happened to Penn State? And yes, they have injuries, a regressing QB, and a terrible defense, but those are similar problems to Michigan. Actually, almost the exact same problems Michigan has, except we actually have ended games in the win category and show promise under Cade McNamara. When Penn State put Will Levis in the game, he rallied against Nebraska, and though ultimately falling short, at least they thought they found an answer until they got absolutely manhandled again, 41-21 against Iowa, and the score was closer than the actual game. Penn State putting 14 points up very late in the game. I think the question of Franklin being fired is honestly ridiculous. He's won a Big Ten championship, beat Ohio State, has multiple 11-win seasons, and was on track to maybe make it to the playoffs if it wasn't for this crazy year. Harbaugh, on the other hand, hasn't accomplished any of those things, and he hasn't even put himself in the position to do any of those things since 2018, keeping around terrible defensive coaches and not even playing your best QB at times. And why is Don still here? Can anyone answer that question or give me a reason why, besides the fact that he was good in 2016 and 2017? Michigan Athletics certainly hasn't given me a reason, and why am I not surprised? I swear ever since Warde Manuel has gotten here, it's been worse. Not only are the fans and donors not given answers, Michigan Athletics blatantly just ignores everyone and is more worried about how nice the trips are that Jim is taking the team on than winning football games. To put it into simple terms of where the state of the program is at Michigan, it's basically an academic school with a history of good football teams compared to Ohio State, who is a great football school with a history of being good academically. Nothing is going to change about that for now, so I'm going to go over things I want to see versus Penn State and my score predictions because I'm just sticking to this season until the end, basically see how it rides out. I noticed that maybe Gaddis' play calling isn't as bad as we think, but works with the right QB in, aka Cade McNamara, because when Cade was making the right throws, setting up a deep threat, the run calls being used for the past 3 weeks were working, but the play calling still needs to be cleaned up ultimately. I would love to see screens and sweeps utilized like Wisconsin and Rutgers ran on us, but the baseline thing I want to see is Cade playing a great game, building off last week, and showing everyone it wasn't a one-game performance for him like John O'Corn did in 2017. Defensively, Daxon needs to play better. Besides the game-sealing interception, he had bad reads, played slow, and kept getting confused, giving up a long, wide-open touchdown on blown coverage. I'm hoping Kwity Paye, Hawkins, and McGrone can come back, but banking on the fact they can't, we need young guys to step up, and for Don to have an ounce of working scheme to build off, whether it's cover 2, cover 6, etc. And when running a scheme, I want the linebackers and secondary at the very least to be running it correctly. I also was appalled at not being able to get off horrible blocks. Vincent Gray and Gmon need to work on that this week, and they need to work on getting off blocks faster and just getting off blocks in general. There was some times where they were held against Rutgers, but it was atrocious. The fact that they couldn't get off a single block by those wide receivers, it was terrible. They didn't even try. It just looks like they were just standing there at some points, not even trying to rip their arms away or punch them down or anything. That basically wraps it up for the defense, and as far as Harbaugh goes, he somehow pulled off a comeback with Cade, and he needs to make sure his team has a working, cohesive plan next time against Penn State. My final score prediction is Michigan coming out strong early, but Penn State having a small comeback late with Michigan's defense stepping up, resulting in a Michigan win 44-38. This is the Victors Podcast. I'm Jeremy Brown. As always, go blue.